Today we're going to go over a case study going through the story of a very frustrating process of a Kenyan citizen who married an American person and went through the consular processing portion to get their green card through the U.S. Embassy in Nairobi, Kenya. We're going to start at the beginning to the end and discuss specific issues that came about, three big ones that everyone wants to know, not only in Kenya, but if you're in all different African countries, including Nigeria, but also a lot of the Middle East, East Asia, all over the place, South America. Practically, if you're not outside Europe, these are the issues you're going to deal with. So the info is really important, even though the case is focused on this Kenyan citizen, because we want to show the exact timelines, how everything worked out. I'm immigration lawyer John Kasravi. I help married couples get green cards, come to the United States, and live their lives. So let's start from the beginning. The story is this. There was a woman who got her green card in the United States and married her longtime boyfriend who was back home in Kenya. Now, she was a green card at the time. It's called F2A preference category. There's a long line for this green card case, so it's going to take over 5 years probably to get it done. But a few months into the marriage and after filing the first step of the process, the I-130 marriage petition with USCIS, the immigration department in the United States, to show they're really a couple, they're married, she became a citizen. So first things first, we updated the government, sent evidence of the naturalization certificate to let them know that she's a citizen now. Now, you think that the government automatically know that and change it, but they don't. It's up to you to send it. Having said that, sometimes we send it and they just don't change the case up, so and even acknowledge it. So it's best to call up after you mailed the evidence of citizenship to them to confirm that they updated the case and made it into a citizenship case. Nowadays, at the time we had to mail it in. Nowadays, the online system's gotten better, so you can upload a lot of these documents. But just be aware to keep an eye on it. So eventually, the case was approved. These were on average the I-130 petition, taking 12 or 13 months to approve. And the timeline for this was actually normal. It wasn't out of the norm. And around August 2022, the case was approved, and soon after we received a welcome notice from the U.S. Embassy in Nairobi, Kenya. Now, it's very important if you submit an I-130 petition, it asks where your case should be processed. If you're going to be outside the spouses or the foreign person in general, all these kind of cases, brothers, sisters cases, parents cases, if they're outside, you have to list that they're outside in the U.S. Embassy they want to go to. If you mistakenly list that they're in the U.S. or mark the box that they're in the U.S. applying and outside, they may just keep the case in the U.S. and require you to fill out this form I-824, which is super complicated and expensive and time-consuming, and it's going to ruin your life. So you don't want to do that. Just make sure you mark the right place, which they did here. And we got a notice from the National Visa Center for the next step of the process, consular processing. Now, at the time in 2022, the National Visa Center was backed up, so it's taken a while to get these approved. Instead of like 2 weeks right now to in 2025, January 2025, we're doing this. It was taking like 2 or 3 months for them to get the documents to the National Visa Center where we upload, have them review it, and then accept it. But once they did accept the documents, so we qualified the case after a few months, they told us to wait. We waited 1 year went by and 2 years go by, and around the end of 2024, we finally got an interview notice to come to an interview in Nairobi, Kenya. Now, some notes about that. First off, a lot of people want to have expedite requests and do stuff. Now, in this case, we contacted their congressperson and senator multiple times and asked them to expedite the case because the petitioner had exceptional circumstances that I think would have qualified them to have their spouse get their visa interview sooner, but no budging. They didn't do it at all, so they had to wait forever, essentially 2 years, for an embassy interview to happen. So be aware of that. Secondly, before you do your embassy interview, there's a medical checkup that has to happen for everybody. Everyone getting a green card. In this process, many countries of the world, including Kenya, the people there may test false positive for tuberculosis, TB. And so that has consequences to that. First of all, there's additional testing, chest x-rays, and all sorts of medical stuff that has to happen. So you might do a medical checkup before your interview, but the medical checkup may not be done. So in this case, they went to their interview, and the interview went well, but the medical checkup was not complete, so they couldn't issue the visa. Be aware of that. Once the visa was issued, because there was a false positive for tuberculosis, the immigrant visa stamp, that what visa allows you to come to the United States to then get your green card, was only approved and issued for 3 months instead of 6 months, which is typical if these issues don't exist. And the 3 months is not based on when the interview happened, but it's based on when the doctor's paperwork is finished. So if you do your doctor's appointment and you complete it and then have your embassy interview 2 weeks later, the 3 months or 6 months will start from when the doctor's appointment was completed, because it's based on how far off from the medical exam you're going to enter the United States. So be aware of that, because once the visa is issued, sometimes it takes a while. You might have to quickly come to the United States to avoid the visa being voided or expiring. So that's very important. So I wanted to share those with you. One more note I'm going to say, but I went over the issue with the medical checkup, the delays. One little note is that you need a police certificate if you've been living in Kenya or any country going through the visa process for more than a year or 6 months, depending on your background. The Department of State has a website that lists how you can get these police certificates. The website for it that they have right now is incorrect, the link for it. My client was able to find the correct place to get a police certificate in Kenya, but be mindful of that. The information the government has is not updated. You might have to search for yourself. I don't want to say the exact website. It's not, because they may change it tomorrow, and what I'm saying right now won't be valid anymore. But you kind of have to do your homework on all cases, try to figure out the best way to do it. But it's doable, and they got it rather quickly, so it wasn't an issue. Just be mindful of that. When you do wait 2 years to have a case done, a lot of the documents come outdated, so you may need to bring updated financial information. This embassy wanted more documents than I typically see. They wanted more evidence of relationship. Certain documents they updated, which we typically don't do. But every embassy is different, so you got to prep for what they want and what they say they want, and be able to really responsive to make sure there's no delays on your part, because they're going to be delaying things for sure. And I don't see that getting any better in the new Trump administration. So I hope this information helped give you an understanding of what the process is, what to expect, so you can plan your life, your future, your work, all that kind of stuff, family planning, before you start the process, so it's less stressful. And just be mindful of certain hiccups that can happen to prevent those, to avoid having more delays. Again, I'm immigration lawyer John Kasravi. I help couples like this every day. It's what I love to do. I've been doing it for 15 years, and God willing, I'll do another 15. It's the best job in the world, helping married couples, enjoy their lives together. So if you want to schedule a private consultation, go to our website, jqklaw.com/contact. Fill out our contact us page, and we'll take it from there to schedule a private video consultation and talk with you. Please don't contact people through Facebook, other methods. Our website is the #1 way to do it, to know it's us and it's not a fraud account or anything like that. I wish you all the best, and I hope you safe travels.